Welcome back. Y'all ready for part 2? Alrighty then, well, we're gonna get started. These bags have just been floating around in the pool for a few days waiting for the weather. I didn't have to put them in the pool, but they were out here, didn't want them to blow away, so I just went ahead and set them up. And it's kind of nice because the bottoms are full of water now, so I know they're good and saturated. Not that that really matters because we're about to add sloppy wet mix. You can start out with totally dry bags, but nevertheless, this is the way I did it. So, step 1 is going to be to fill the bag with your potting mix. Now, let's talk a minute about the potting mix recipe. The potting mix recipe is really easy. It's pretty much the same for most of your plants, but there are a few exceptions. Corn, tomatoes, strawberries, all 3 of those need more compost in the mix. Other vegetables, you don't want to add any lime or half as much lime because they like a more acidic soil. So for the nitty-gritty on the recipe, I wrote out a pretty long blog article. I will include the link to my blog in the description and you can find it there. So for what we're doing today, I have 5 7-gallon bags, so that would be 35 gallons. Now, one batch of Larry's mix makes 15 gallons. For corn, however, to that batch, you want to add about 2 to 2.5 more gallons of compost. They like a very rich soil. They are a heavy feeder. So doing that, what I have done, I've made 2 batches. So I actually have 35 gallons. I'll show you how. One batch contains 2 5-gallon pails or 10 gallons of peat. So instead of 10, I have 20. One batch normally contains 5 gallons of compost. Instead of 5, since I have 2 batches, I've got 10, so that's 30. Then you need to add another 2.5 gallons per batch of additional compost. So that would be another 5-gallon pail for 2 batches. So I actually have 35 gallons in my wagon. And I have mixed all of the amendments in. So now it's time to fill. There are actually 2 ways to fill the bags. The old way, or the first way, was the way I used to do it when I started. With the old way, you're just putting your wet mix about 1 inch or so in the bottom, and then you're filling it with dry mix up to about 1/4 of your container and wetting that in real well, and then another 1/4 and so forth and so on until it's full, watering in between adding the dry mix in the bag. But with this new way of filling, you can do something a little extra special, and that is go ahead and add some of your fertilizer into your mix. With the old way, we would add the ring of fertilizer a week or so after you planted your plants in the top, and then add more dry mix on top of that. You can still do that. In fact, even with the heavy feeders like this corn, I will add an additional ring of fertilizer after the plants are about 12 inches or so tall. But with filling the bags this different way that I'm about to show you, you can go ahead and add a good bit of your fertilizer into your mix, especially for the heavy feeders like corn, and then you will wait 3 or 4 days to make sure it's wicking. During that three or 4 days, that fertilizer is going to slowly dissolve. See, you don't want to put your plant roots up next to undissolved fertilizer, or it will burn the roots and likely kill the plant. So let's go through the steps and I will show you how we fill a bag. I've taken my bag out of my pool because I know I'm sloppy and I'm likely to spill it all over the place. I really don't want the mix in the pool. So I've got it out right now. In this red bucket, I have put a bunch of the mix and I have made it really sloppy wet. Mud pie wet. Then to the rest of the mix, I have moistened it to, well, you know, when you open a fresh bag of potting mix, you know how it's slightly damp? Well, that's the way this feels now. It's not saturated, but it is dampened. And the other nice thing about doing the method of filling this way is you don't really have to wear a mask after you get this saturated, because your peat moss and the rest of it's not flying around in the air. Step one is to fill the bottom of your bag, and this is true for buckets as well, with the sloppy wet mix up to 1 inch, maybe even 2 inches. So that's what I'm going to do first. This is going to start the wicking action, the capillary action. Just makes it go a little bit faster, and I'm spreading this around so that I can get my nice round shape of my bag. So now, I'm just going to fill the rest of this bag up. I've got it full to the brim. Now what you want to do is give it a little bump and a shake. If you can pick it up, even that kind of bump. That just kind of gets rid of the air pockets. If you notice, it also condensed down a little bit. So I'm going to fill it all the way back up again. And that's it. We're going to put it in the pool, let it stay there for 3 or 4 days before we plant. So I'll do that, fill the other bags, and then we'll come back. The bags are full, they're in the pool, and let's talk about the next step. If you watched part 1, you might recall that I said you can put different size grow bags in the same pool. And that is true, but you have to do something to adjust for how much water the bags, the different size bags, are sitting in. With these 7-gallon bags, they need to be sitting in 1.5 inches, and that's where we set the float. But let's say you want to use a 2-gallon or a 3-gallon or 1-gallon bag in the same kiddie pool. Well, you can do that, but you need to fix it so that it will work. The 1-gallon bags really just need to sit in no more than 1/2 inch of water, and even the 1/2 inch for some plants can really make it too wet. So somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 for 1-gallon bags. For your 2- and 3-gallon bags, you're probably looking at about 3/4 of an inch of water, and then between there and the 7s, I would say a good inch, 1.25 inches. Anything over 7, 1.5 inches is great for that. Even all the way up to the 20 gallons. I mean, the modified kiddie pool system that we built for our blueberries, those are 20-gallon bags, and we still maintain the same 1.5 inches of water in the bottom. Now, the easy way to do that is to use rock. 1/2 inch pea gravel works exceptionally well. So you fill your bags first, put your water in, get it adjusted to your 1.5 inches, and then around the bags you put the pea gravel up to maybe 2, even 3 inches. It's fine to go over. What that's going to do then is allow you to move the rock around so that you can set a 1-gallon bag or a 2-gallon or a 3-gallon bag in the same pool. So you can have multiple sizes. The easy way to adjust is with the rock. Now, there are 2 other main reasons to put the rock in your pool. First and foremost, mosquitoes. Until your plants get really good and going and it's the hot heat of the summer, your pool's probably not going to turn over that much water, and you may have some stagnant water in there, which is a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Putting the pea gravel in there fixes that problem. There's not stagnant water. Your mosquito larvae are not going to lay eggs in the water. They can't see the water, for one thing. It's dry on the top with the rocks. Secondly, is it keeps your pool from growing algae. Therefore, it also keeps the algae off your grow bags, making it a lot easier to clean between seasons. My meticulous husband wanted me to wash this pea gravel, and it comes in like, I don't know, 20-30 pound bags, plenty heavy for me. So when I came out here this afternoon, this is how I found my pea gravel. On a tarp, cut open bags. So there was nothing for me to do but wash them. You can see now how it looks. It looks really clean and nice. You can grow any vegetable in bags in kiddie pools. You can mix and match your vegetables. You just have to pay attention to how tall they're going to grow and whether or not they'll be shading out other plants, and whether or not you need to figure out some kind of a trellis for them. With corn, that is the exception. If you're going to grow corn, that's all that you should put in this pool, just corn. There are only 5 bags. Obviously, I could have probably squeezed 2 more in, but the recommendation is 5, 7, 7.5 gallon grow bags for corn. 4 plants per bag. 20 plants per pool. You need airflow around your corn, and I'll do a close-up here in a minute, but these bags are scooted toward the center. I gave myself about 2 inches of outer edge room as well. Now, just for a quick demo, this is a little gallon grow bag. By the way, you can't even see my float anymore. See, that was the third thing I forgot to tell you about adding the rock, is the rock helps hold the float down, because it can have a tendency to move around and float up or turn over. I've seen it do that. I mean, it was when I came out here this afternoon, Charlie boy had gotten in the pool and he had righted it sideways, so the rocks help hold it down. So let me just demo real quick for you, if I can get up off this bucket, and show you how we would do an extra smaller bag in a pool. So as I mentioned, you're just going to move. See, I'm already seeing my water here. Just going to move it out where you've got 1/4 to 1/2 inch of water. And then just push your rocks around your bag and you're good to go. Well, that's it for part 2, except, you know, for the special closing we'll have for the Bob fella. Part 3 is going to cover how to plant the corn plants and show you how to pick, you know, the seed starts that you've done to make sure they're kind of all the same height. And then we're going to need to talk about some ways to keep that corn upright. In high winds, it will blow over. I will show you what mine did last year and then what we did to protect it, and kind of what we're thinking about doing this year as a change. So if you watch part 1, you kind of know where this is going here. To end it, we just need to give old Bob some southern education on how we talk in the South. And by the way, Bob, if you happen to watch, you know, we're kind of, I guess, kind of getting friendly now, so you need a southern nickname, and I'm thinking Bubba. Here you go, fella. Listen up, y'all. Y'all, I'm in a pickle. I don't recollect that. You don't ever say shut up. You say hush. It's just up yonder a piece. My, he's a tall drink of water. You need to treat him like a skunk and keep him at a distance. They got tin foil on sale up at Walmart. She's so country, when she opens her mouth, sticks fall out. Well, I'll be. Well, I never. You done gone and done it now. They got NASCAR hats on sale up at the Walmart. That was eons ago. Ow, dadgummit. If I wanted to be told what to do, I'd go live with my daddy. I've done told you 50 loving times. They got Red Lobster biscuit mix on sale up at the Walmart. Lord have mercy. I'm gonna make him grin like a possum eating sweet taters. He's hotter than donut grease. Child, please. Well, okay, wear your seatbelt and watch out for deer. Y'all come back now, you hear?